Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Pacific Nations Cup. Now, at this stage of the competition, there is a clear leader at the moment. And I know that sounds weird to say with 5 and 5 as the two top scoring sides, but Fiji have a massive opportunity here to make their way through to the semi-finals of the Pacific Nations Cup. The same as with Tonga. Although for them to be able to do so, they would have to win this game by 27 points to then have a better points differential than the Manu Samoans, who currently do have that spot. On the other side of the draw, we see Japan at the top of the bunch, the USA in second, but those two sides will be playing off this weekend in the Pacific Nations Cup, so that will help confirm who else makes it through. But at the moment, it does seem like those two sides will be the successful ones. Looking through now at what this Tongan lineup does look like in terms of the front row. It is Falemi, Anaseko, as well as Ben Tamefuna, the captain. At number 3, Mateeli and Kaufusi in the locking duo. Then Aho Kovi at number 6. Afangia at number 7. And Lotuanisi slotting in as the number 8. Now, he is a dangerous player, that is for sure. He has got plenty of power, plenty of pace. His brother Finianisi, he will find himself in the midfield for this game, but Halo and Pellegrini as the 19 combo with Fatuli Paia and Finianisi, like I mentioned, and number 13, Tui Tupu out on one wing, Filimohala out on the other, and then Foliaki at number 15 for the Tongans. Then for the Fijians, the away side, they have made quite a few changes compared to their first game when they did go head-to-head with Samoa, Ronimaui, Ikanaveri, and Samu Tawake as the front row, Vofi alongside Maiana Vanua in the locking duo. Then Derialangi at 6, Thanakai Vata at number 7, and Albert Tuisui gets the chance at number 8. Frank Lamani and Caleb Muntz, the Fijian draw combo, will be there once again for the international side. Fathangi in the midfield alongside Osifu Masi, then Apeli Momo out on one wing, Karawa Levu out on the other, and then at number 15, this is where we do see Armstrong Ravula get the chance, although it's going to be interesting to see how he does go in that number 15 jersey, because it's something we haven't seen too much of for the Fijian draw. Normally seeing him playing as a fly half, but these two sides almost ready to go, ladies and gentlemen, for this match of the Pacific Nations Cup. Ireland Hamish says, Robert, welcome, mate. Hope you are keeping well. You are excited for yet again another match. Now, the semi-finals will be taking place next Saturday and also on Sunday. I should have mentioned, I believe it will be the top qualifier versus the second top in terms of Pool A and Pool B, and then the top versus the second top on the other side of the draw as well. Both of these sides are fired up. They'll be wanting to cement themselves as a real contender in this Pacific Nations Cup. For Tonga, this more, even though it is at home, it's more of a playing for pride type of game rather than being able to really make that change. Like I mentioned, they would have to win this game by 27 points to have a chance of going through to the next stage. They've just pretty much said that Fiji would need to lose by 27 plus Tonga would need 5. In fact, it might even be that if they were to do that, Fiji would not qualify, I want to say, is what I just heard them say. Which, I mean, that adds a little bit of extra tension to it. Maybe that is because of the head-to-head stat. Right. Just about ready to go. Pellegrini, I'm sure that I just saw Loto and Nisi saying Osifu Masi. So I'm curious to see whether or not that is where this ball is going to go. If it doesn't, then I'm obviously terrible at lip reading. But the Tongans, they will be ready to kick this one off. A home game, I should say, for Tonga here. They're both now underway, ready to go. Oh, Loto and Nisi doing a little bit of talking as well. He's telling them to come at him. Game has not started yet. Angus Garner, he will be the referee in charge of this one. Damien Murphy as the TMO. Reuben Keane and George Myers as the two assistant referees. But we are ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Tonga to kick this one off from left to right. Are they going to find Osifu Masi? It's kicked off long. No, it doesn't go to him in the end. I think it went to the man in front of Osifu Masi. But Frank Lamani now going for the kick downfield. Looking to play territory early. Nicely taken by Foliaki. Lined up by Derialangi. Misses the tackle. Tonga eventually are dragged down. Halo now going into the breakdown. Going off to this left-hand side. Now Tonga up against Samoa actually started pretty well. Good morning from South Africa. I just woke up, getting ready for work, 5 p.m. or 5 a.m. this side, I should say, from Justin. Welcome in, mate. Of course, a massive game taking place in only 36 hours' time. We are going to be live for that game. It's going to be a massive one. New Zealand with the rematch up against South Africa. It's going to be an epic one. Armstrong Ravula now receives the kick in behind from the Tongan, so decides to return fire down towards Tonga's 22. Bounce of the ball is favourable. Gets the offload. Bahalo is there to be able to clean it up. That was extremely lucky for the Tongans because Armstrong Ravula chased his own kick and actually ended up with the possession. But now Miri Dedialangi. Ball is there now for the Fijians. Lamani going back across to the right-hand side. Lamani again shifts it off to the side. Whanakai Vata, hard man to stop when he gets this close to the try line. Dedialangi. Here's a lurking waiting for that next pass, but Lamani will go short side first. The right-hand side, 5 metres out still for the Fijians. They put together 5 phases. Albert Tui Sui, big run from him, but he's dragged down by Aniseko. Now Ikanaviri, big shot coming in. I think the New Zealand will lose 32-23. Says Marie. And there as well. No, nice pass out wide. Apeli Momo to Masi. And that is the first try of the contest for the Fijians. Easy as you like. And Osefo Masi in first. 2 minutes into this contest. And they have already scored Fiji. Which then means, theoretically, if we were talking about for Tonga to have any chance of going through, they would now need to score the next 33 points in this game. Not just the 27 anymore. But it was kicked downfield. Tonga just allowing that ball to bounce. I think Tui Tupa was waiting for it and it never quite bounced up to him. Halo did extremely well to cut off the offload from Fiji. But then the pressure in the breakdown, managing to drive over, get that turnover in their favour. And then Miri Dedialangi wrestled down a few more phases. And then out wide, Apeli Momo found Masi for the first try of the contest. Now lining up this kick, it will be Caleb Muntz near the touch line. Does miss away to the left-hand side. So after 3 minutes, the score will be 5-0 in favour of the Fijians. Where's this match hosted? It is in Tonga for this one. So all 3 nations have got to host one game. Fiji hosting Samoa, Samoa hosting Tonga, and now Tonga hosting the Fijians. I'm not sure about where the matches are next week, though, because I know that they will be played in different locations. I think it depends on who the top qualifiers are. I see taking the mark inside of the 22. Don't know whether or not Tonga knew that new rule. They were trying to still tackle Osefo Masi there. Taking the quick tap and going back into the pocket to Frank Lamani. And he gets that ball into touch. Tonga taking it quickly. Foriaki goes across to Pellegrini. Kicking downfield into the 22 of Fiji. Caleb Muntz, plenty of time to send this one back downfield. Just inside of the field of play. Foliaki takes it back into the 22 where Tupo Tupo is waiting. Does decide to return fire with a kick of his own. Armstrong Ravula kicks it high. It's a good chase from Karawalevu, and he's managed to clean it up. Looking for his offload over the top. Finds Tavita Ikanaviri. That is a sensational run from the big man. And that is a try for Fiji. Again, 4.5 minutes in. And they have already scored 2 tries. Who's playing better, Hamish? At the moment, I would say Fiji. Mainly because of the 2 tries in the first 4 minutes. That was a phenomenal run and a phenomenal chase from Karawalevu. No one in the back for Tonga getting that close. Looks like Tavita Ikanaviri may have a bit of a limp here. Last thing that they want in this game is an injury. But Tavita Ikanaviri, he had to score that because he wasn't looking to pass and he almost ended up short of the line. But when the big man is that close, it's going to be hard to stop him as he manages to reach out and score. Caleb Muntz, he is converted at the moment. It seems like we're watching a highlights package, but that is now 12 points to 0 in favour of Fiji. What's up, everyone? Says Valhalla. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are keeping well. Hope you're excited for the rugby this weekend. Of course, two massive games of the Rugby Championship partnered with, I believe, the game between USA and Japan will also be taking place to determine who is playing who. The winner of that game will get more than likely Samoa, and then the loser of that game will face the Fijians, I believe, is how it works. But Pellegrini gets that one off high now. Mark taken again by Osefo Masiarinda with 50 points by Fiji. Says Ivan. Again, back in the pocket. Frank Lamani does fine touch this time, and Tonga not able to take it cleanly, which does result in the line out just outside of their 22. In fact, a little bit further down the field, about 30 metres out from their own line. Currently 6 minutes in. Tonga haven't really had any sort of possession at the moment. Bald Eagles versus Godzilla. Says Valhalla there. Nicely taken by Tonga now. Looks like they are just stagnant at the moment. I was waiting for a little bit of movement for the Tongans, but they do not get any. Halo kicks it downfield, and he's kicked it out on the full. So that will bring it right back to where he kicked it from. And the Fijians, they will get themselves the throw. Now, Ekanaviri going over the top. Wasn't really well set, and Tonga have noticed, and now have been able to get the turnover in the hands of Afiinga. And Stormers bought a number of tickets to the New Zealand game. They're now using them to sell their season tickets. If you buy a season ticket, you get the option of buying the New Zealand ticket for 1,000 Rand. Says just in case. So how much would it normally be for the ticket to the game and a season ticket, Justin? Is it a good deal, or have they've been a little bit sneaky with it? I guess seeing as it's at Cape Town Stadium, that makes a bit of sense that maybe there's some sort of promotion going on there. Online book, Kenny, or Kemby, says Ivan. Now thrown in, stolen by Fiji. Yet again at line-out time now. Nice running forward from Thatangi. Finds his offload to Muntz. Space on the outside for the Fijians. Armstrong, Ravula, one more to Apele Momo. Going to be a foot race. He decides to kick it downfield. He's got quite a bit of it. It may roll dead. No, Sam Tui Tupo has to clean it up. And kicks it into touch again. This will be just outside of their 22. Are they being a bit sneaky because their season tickets aren't selling? Says just in case. So I guess it does depend on how much their ticket normally is, doesn't it? Like, are they trying to say that it's a bargain, or are they saying that it's expensive? Because I think 1,000 Rand is 100 New Zealand dollars, I think. But then if that's for a whole season of every home game for the Stormers, that's probably not a bad price. Or is that you get it added on for a cheap discount because you've bought the season ticket for a different price? It might be that, actually, rather than the whole thing for 1,000. It's going to be a scrum here for the Tongas. That's outrageous, says Ivan. This is a stupid question. When and why do teams kick the ball downfield? Normally, when you're kicking it downfield, you're trying to get a bit of territory is the main thing, or you're just trying to break up the attack. But there are other reasons as well, but like those are the two main ones. $100 New Zealand for a ticket is too much. That's like stock standard here in New Zealand, unfortunately. Like, if you wanted to go to any New Zealand game here in New Zealand, like even the seats up top, you're probably looking at $80, something like that maybe. If you're sitting in the front row, you're probably looking at $200, $300 for a ticket. That one's going to be kicked into touch by Caleb Muntz. But yeah, you're pretty much just trying to break up your attack, or you're trying to get further down the field, because if you kick it into their 22, then they will more than likely kick the ball into touch, and then you get that territory gain. Kind of like Aussie rules, a little bit. I guess you could say, except you're not allowed to be in front of the kicker, is the big difference there. You have to chase from behind where the kick was taken. Now Tavera Ikanaveri, going to throw this one in. And nicely taken a Pele Mombo. We'll be waiting for it on the near side if they want to use them. I don't think they're going to have to. No, they just get the rolling all over. And it is a third try for Fiji. Are the games even played or ever played indoors? Only at Forsyth Bar Stadium down in Dunedin. That is one of the only stadiums that has a roof on it. Alongside like a couple Northern Hemisphere ones, such as the Principality Stadium, can have the option of a roof, but a majority of stadiums are in the open. Like, how much is Super Rugby final tickets compared to South Africa versus New Zealand? I think you could get finals tickets for maybe $50, somewhere around there maybe. And the tickets to the box game go between 350 and 5,000 box tickets, 850, 1,350, etc. Says Justin. So are the seats that they're trying to offer with them any good, or are they just like random seats that they've bought to try and get more? Well, New Zealand Rugby League needs to learn the money is in packing the stadium and selling the dollars of food and booze. Yeah. And I was saying it all throughout, I think it was last season of Super Rugby when we were seeing quite empty stadiums. I was saying that if you can get people to the ground, you know, like even if you're charging them $20 or $30 for a ticket, then if they buy any sort of food, that's going to be like $10 because food prices at stadiums are outrageous. They might buy some merch. They might do something like I mentioned about last year, how if you really want to get people spending money, then what you could do is with their ticket, give them like a $10 discount for the merch shop that's at the ground. And that way they're still buying the merch, and the merch is expensive anyway. That's a good run by the Fijians. They're now 19-0 up at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. And 350 is inside grandstand as well. Says Ivan, where can I watch the stream? Your best bet if you are in New Zealand is Sky Sport. Unfortunately, other than that, there aren't too many options. Maybe Rugby Pass TV may have this game, I believe. Where can I watch, please? Yeah, once again, Rugby Pass TV, I believe, might have this game. Otherwise, it's only really the paid subscriptions that have the options of watching. But nice back run from Lotu and Nisi. Tackled on the halfway line. Now back to the right-hand side. You should stream on Kick, bro. Says T, why is that? I assume you're saying so that I can show the game, but it's actually still illegal on Kick. Because I know that right at the start of when Kick started, people tried to do like streaming of sports and whatnot because they were told Kick had a lot less strictness of terms of service, but then people still got copyrighted by like the actual broadcasters. But it was just more of the case of Kick tried to brush that aside so that they could attract more people over there. But you can really get in trouble. People stream NRL on there. You just have to cover broadcaster logo. Says T. Yeah, although it's only a matter of time until the NRL work that out. And then from there, like, Kick will be in a lot of trouble. Like, they will get sued badly. I can take spouse and 2 kids to MLB games. 4 seats, 4 hot dogs and drinks for $80 US. Going back to sleep, it's too early still in South Africa. Looking forward to tomorrow's big game up the Bucks. Says Bruce there as well. But currently Fiji and Tonga just having a bit of a kicking battle at the moment. They've had about 4 or 5 kicks back and forth in a row. Now running this one forward will be Philomohala. And he doesn't find touch again. Now nice step from Frank Lamani. Moving to 30 metres out. I'm a bet for over 58 total points. It's looking like free money, says T. It could do, unless Tonga find how to defend. If Tonga can start defending, it might be a little bit more challenging. But for now, they've just completely just boosted it up big time. You stream the bet 365 instead of flash score, man. It gives way better visuals. If that is to do with the like pitch map and whatnot, we have tried in the past, but unfortunately, due to the delay that we have on Sky Sport now rather than watching on Sky Go, it means that the little picture normally shows what's happening in the game about 20 seconds before we say it. So we did try it. People got really annoyed with it, saying that it was spoiling the whole stream. So since then, we've just gone back to the scoreboard to try and not annoy as many people. We have there pretty bad seats, of course. Says Mark. Season tickets range from 1,500. You pay an extra 1,000 Rand per ticket that you could have bought for 350. I doubt they'll sell 1,350 ticket for 1,000 Rand, says Justin. It's going to be another offload from Fiji as they continue to keep the possession after 15 minutes in this contest, going to the right-hand side. Another big step coming from Thathangi. Vuthi. Now in the midfield, big drive through from Anisi, but he's going to be penalised for it. In fact, it was the second man, all Thathangi, having a bit of push and shove with one of the big forwards. I think that's Mateeli. I get that is true. I understand your point, says Valhalla. But yeah, we have tried it in the past. It's just, unfortunately, the timing was the big problem in that regard. 350 is for the nosebleed seats, as Americans would say, says Justin. Okay, Angus Gardner just telling everyone to relax for this game. I think there's a bit of tension here, seeing as Tonga are down 19 points already in this contest. Okay, Angus Gardner just explaining what the penalty was for. A little handshake from the players, but they will go to try to whack each other in a very short moment. Wait a minute. They're going to go upstairs. I got to get a vacation to Cape Town, says Mark. But $80 is a good family price, right? Says Stay Hunky. Yeah, I'd say that $80. Oh, yeah, no, it was a bit of an ugly clean out. We're just going to see the replay. Oh, yeah, it's a shoulder to the head of a grounded opponent. Thathangi's going to be going to the bin for at least 10 minutes here, if not longer. We do describe the higher seats as the nosebleeds. Yeah, that's real bad from Thathangi. There was no way for the Tongan player to defend his face as Thathangi just flew through and, yeah, whacked him right on the side of it. That is why there was a bit of push and shove. It's an ugly one. I think this could be 10 minutes, if not maybe a bit more, because there's just no, like, there's nothing there that looks good for Thathangi. Angus Gardner's asking if the arm's coming around. I think that the only thing that was... Okay, it's met the yellow card threshold. I think the arm's only wrapped because his shoulder made contact with the head, and then that's caused the arm to come round. As 10, says Valhalla. Yep, 10 minutes off the field for Thathangi here. The last thing that Fiji needed is a 10-minute penalty, a yellow card, says Valhalla. So yeah, pretty much a yellow card is 10 minutes off the field for your team member. So Thathangi, they're going to review it, which now means that they have the next 10 minutes to decide whether or not it is going to be upgraded to a red. If it's a red, he will be off the field for the rest of the game, but they can replace him after 20 minutes. Bit of a weird rule that they've got now, which sounds weird to describe, but it makes sense in the game, if that makes sense. And Stormers season ticket holders aren't happy because they feel like they're being taken for a ride. It's a bad deal in general, says just in case. It looks red, I think, says Annoy. Yeah, like, looking at it, right, there's nothing that I don't think you could argue in terms of, like, there's any sort of mitigation. Like, it's a grounded opponent. He's come in, he's hit him in the head with a flying shoulder. They're saying that there might have been an arm wrap, but I think it only wrapped because his shoulder made contact with the head, and then from there, it went round. But, like, it's just, he'll be lucky not to get a red. A referee card brutal, although it is just a yellow for now. But it can be upgraded. But Tonga now in position, ladies and gentlemen. That could be the momentum shifter that they needed. Pellegrini rushing up defence from the Fijians, driving them backwards. Ball bounces out the side. Halo has got it. Now for Tulipaya. Gets it one more to the left-hand side. Off to Ohokove. Look like a Bucky's Botha special, says Annoy. Now over the ball for the Fijians. They haven't got the ball in hand. Fiji don't need the extra man. Says D-big shot on Pellegrini. Now chipped him behind. Loose ball picked up by Fatulipai. They could have used him there. And Tonga have gone through and scored the try. And they are back in it now. Was he doing the haka on top of a grounded opponent? He was not quite, no, but he gave him a big flying shoulder to the head. Fatulipai. Fourth international try for him. His first of the Pacific Nations Cup. Fiji, the defence cut wide open there by the chipping behind from Tonga. I like the touchline tables for the spectators to dine and watch the test, says Annoy. Great bounce of the ball for Tulipaia. Almost got stood on by his teammates when he slid in. 18 minutes in at the moment now. Come on, Tonga, says Bill. And Tonga, says Valhalla. Currently throughout the Pacific Nations Cup, Pellegrini is sitting 3 from 3, 100% kicking accuracy for that man. And the kick has gone over again, now making it 7 points to 19. And Hunks says Annoy and Tonga, says Valhalla. It's just a really nicely placed kick in behind. The ball was not favourable in terms of bouncing up for Frank Lamani. And Karawalevu, I think he was back there, but by then Tulipaia had already crossed the try line. It was more just a case of where he was going to put the ball down. Getting ready to kick this one off, it will be Caleb Muntz. We are almost a quarter of the way through this match, and we have already had 26 points scored. We could have 100 here if it continues at this rate. Tosaviti says Nazel in there, and that is a mark call from Sam Tuitupo. He's just telling all his teammates to get back so that he can kick it downfield. In fact, I don't know why he made them all get back, because he just passed it back into the pocket to have it cleared into touch anyway. Looks like the sun might have been out earlier on before the game from the pre-match stuff that we saw. Looks like the sun has come back out now, though, which is great to see. And still another 6.5 minutes till we see the Fijian number 12, Thothangi, make his way back onto the field. Massive chance for Tonga to get a little bit further back into the contest. Lamani goes off to the left-hand side to Albert Tuisui. Massive contact between him and Afangia. Now Osifumasi, quick hands. It's gone through. Karawalevu out wide. They will now go back for the line-out. I don't think Fiji have had too many errors throughout that first 15 minutes, but as soon as they've had that card, now it seems like the errors are starting to be a little bit more often for this Fijian side. We've got 2 big games, ladies and gentlemen, of the weekend. Rugby Championship, New Zealand versus South Africa. That is going to be a massive game. And then also alongside that, we are going to be doing Argentina versus Australia, which is taking place only 4 hours after New Zealand versus South Africa does kick off. Good chase from Sam Tuitupo. I never heard of Tonga Monarch now. They still exist, or government rule over them already? I honestly have no idea. I know there was a guy that they shook hands with before the game. I don't know who that was, but looks like it's a nice day in Tonga. That's about all I can tell you about Tonga at the moment. I don't even think I know the capital of Tonga. That's another loose ball from Fiji, and they push it into touch. The box 5-3, giving some backs a chance for a test, says Hanoi. And yeah, Lukanyuan, one of the backs they have decided to give the chance, as well as Jaden Hendrickse. We still have to do our preview in terms of releasing it. It will be coming out probably at around 4 a.m. New Zealand time tomorrow morning. I think that's roughly when we released the last one. In fact, it might have been 3 a.m. Right, the yellow card is upgraded to a red card. We mentioned about it earlier on. There was nothing that really showed that it shouldn't have been a red for Thothangi. I think there's a bit of confusion. Angus Gardner, Tavita Ikanaviri was asking him, so does the 20 minutes start now, or does the 20 minutes start? Yeah, so I think it's only like 12 minutes until Fiji can bring another man on the field. I think that Tavita Ikanaviri was right in what he was saying, but it was getting a little bit lost in translation. Tonga, 22 metres out from the line at the moment. Here's Big Ben Tame Funa, bumping through Samu Tawake. Quick hands from Tonga, but the ball is loose. Kick forward from Armstrong Ravula, and it just rolls into touch. Hello, Hamish. There's Brandon Game. Welcome in. And they were popular around the 2010s. Hamish, haven't heard from them now. Tonga might win now, says Anoy. Yeah, well, it certainly made it a bit more even has slowed down the amount of points that we have been seeing scored. Red card should be 25 or 30 minutes. Says Hanoi. Yeah, so, some challenges 20 doesn't seem like enough, but then other ones that you're a little bit unlucky, it does seem like a relatively long time. But I agree that's like even a 40-minute red, like half the game, theoretically, like, because a yellow is an eighth of the game. And only getting a quarter for a red sometimes feels a bit light. Lamani, I'm back across to Ikanaveri, finds Mussy trying to go through the Anisi. Now, Muntz, that looked close to forward. In fact, it was. Spotted by Gardner. Hi, how you doing, Amish? You know how I've been, says Brandon. I'm doing not too bad. Overall, excited for the weekend of rugby that is just around the corner. New Zealand have that massive rematch up against the Springboks. We are going to be covering that from start to finish. Tonga chopping and changing players every week, hoping for a miracle win, says Lowry. And it is tricky for them because most of the big guys that they love to have in their side have already been a part of pre-season overseas. So they've lost, you know, someone like a Malakai Fekitoa, Charles Piatau, in terms of those forwards, Sam Lausi, and a few other men that aren't there for the Tongans in this competition. Then saying that Fiji are in the same boat. They don't have Radradra, Tuisova, all those guys. That's going to be the penalty against Frank Lamani from an offside position. Number 9, offside. Call from Angus Gardner, so that will now give Tonga a little bit more territory. They'll be just outside of Fiji's 22 now. Another chance to be able to attack. Already some deep breaths being taken by both of these sides. A bit of a quick pace, you could say. A line out for Solomoni. Anisiko, I believe it is. And stolen by Fiji. Derialangi does manage to get it back. Hanoi, what's your pneumonia remedy? I can't withstand this when it hits me a few weeks ago. And Bulla from Fiji, great commentary, Amish says a YouTube user. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Nicely taken inside of the 22 there. Foliaki now will look to kick this one into touch. Does just that, but doesn't get a huge amount of distance on it. And win or lose, what do our Tongan brothers need to improve for the second half, says Mark. I think that getting some ball in hand was the main thing throughout that first 15 minutes or so. They just needed that big turnover. And since then, they haven't actually been too bad. Like in the last 10 minutes or so, we've actually seen more tries for Tonga than we saw for Fiji. But I think the big difference is going to be how they defend. There were a few too many gaps opening up early for the Fijian side to run through. But if they can defend it well, and they can stop Fiji from scoring any more tries in this first half, because Fiji are making their own mistakes. They've dropped the ball again, which gives the Tongans the possession. They are going to the short side now. Yeah, anytime Fiji have the ball in hand now, it just seems like they're having a couple early errors. Fatulipai gets the ball out wide. Fili Mohala gets it nicely. Fidi Anisi looking for the offload. He gets back up to his feet as he wasn't held. Now they're 25 metres out from the line. Big run from Lotu Anisi. Straight at his opposite number, Albert Tuisui. Ohala, I should say. Bentame Funa looks like he's a little bit injured, but he's ready for another chance. Another penalty advantage goes against the Fijians. Right, do Tonga want the 3 here, or do they want to try for the 7 while they've got the man advantage? Upload a video today, says Brandon. Currently 14 minutes. So Bentame Fune, they're going to kick this one for the corner here, Tonga. Fiji cooking up shows. Says Brandon there too. The 4 penalties against the Fijians, 1 against Tonga. And that one's going to be 5 metres out from the try line. Chance for a rolling maul, but unfortunately for the Tongans so far, their line out has not been the most efficient. They've been making mistakes. It's been hurting them when it comes to position every time. All Blacks versus Springboks. All Blacks score the most tries, but they win and lose. Says Wallaby. Now, nice rolling maul here for the Tongans. They're only a metre or two out here. Fiji having to defend extremely hard. Halo gets it off to the left-hand side. Nice step coming in from Tonga. Ball is stolen in the breakdown by Fiji. Now back into the pocket. Armstrong Ravula. To try and find touch. Well cleaned up by the big man, Kaufusi. 20 metres out. What we love about Springboks versus All Blacks and Tonga's discipline is its worst enemy. Most of the time, surprise Fiji dropping the ball, but hopefully Tonga fit, and Fiji don't run away at the end. Says Lowry, cross kick from Pellegrini. Picture perfect, out to Sam Tui Tupo. Offload on the inside. Oh, did he just score that one for Fijianese? He slammed the head of Osefo Masi into the ground, though, after he scored it, which I think Angus Gardner will look at. Only because he said earlier on, any more push and shove and someone's getting in trouble. We're going to see it here. I believe he slammed it down. Or did he? Did he drop it there, Fijianese? I'm sure the replay will tell us because we never know who's going to win, says Brandon. But great cross kick from Pellegrini. Then from there, we're going to see the replay. See, he scored it, but there was no need to push Masi in the face after scoring it. In fact, he's probably got away with that one a little bit, Anisi. I know that they'll say it was after he had scored it, but at the same time, he could have got in trouble. You got to be careful. Pellegrini, oh, beautiful kick again. The man just doesn't seem to miss. 19 points to 14 now. Don't anger the Fijians. Fiji will turn up now. Says Zion, yeah, it is a very risky game trying to fire up a Fijian centre. Fijianese is opposite numbers. Osefo Masi, we're going to see the replay. We've never seen this in slow motion. I believe he did score it. I wonder what would have happened if Fiji had retaliated there after the push to the face. Whether or not they would have got in trouble or whether they would have said that the Tongan player started it. Great kicker under big pressure for time. Yeah, that's now 2 kick assists off the tries for Pellegrini. And also his kicking off the tee has been really strong. Like you said, not having much time to line up that kick. And managing to nail it, playing the man in the air. Fiji have been penalised yet again. Pressure, says Inui. 30 minutes through at the moment. We have seen 33 points already scored between these two sides. Pellegrini again will be kicking this one towards the touchline. It'll be about 38 metres out from the line here for the Tongans. Getting ready to throw this ball in. Haven't had a lot of success at line out though. That one just claimed, or is it? No, Fiji have managed to steal it again. That time Aruni Maui, the man with the ball in hand. Muntz gets his kick downfield into the 22. Sam Tuitupo is back there and he has decided to take the mark. Pellegrini sparkling water, you beauty, says Laurie there. Now 9 minutes left in the first half, just looking to slow it down, getting all his Tongan teammates behind him, whereas the game is being played in Tonga. Pellegrini now sinks his slipper into that one. It's going to be the penalty now, though. I think. Is it a penalty? Yes, it is. Oh, okay, he hit the kicker, Caleb Muntz. I was confused there for a second. I was like, have they got Fiji for offside? But yeah, Pellegrini goes through and then Muntz puts in the late hit. Fiji's discipline has gone, I don't even know what to say, gone to fill in the blank, but it's just disappeared throughout the last 10 minutes or so. Ever since that red card, they are just giving away penalty after penalty after penalty. They've now given away 6 in this first half. Tonga, though, managing to get that one right. Now, the lineout was not straight, but because Fiji did not contest, that is also in the new law book, that you are able to do that. As long as your opposition don't contest, you're allowed a not straight lineout. Little kick in behind, or at least a little pass attempted, sorry. And that's going to be a knock-on from Fiji yet again. Another scrum feed for Tonga. Fiji need to break this rhythm at the moment of the Tongans, because Fiji have had too many handling errors, too many penalties. This game is completely turned around in the last 15 minutes. The German word is Scheiße, I believe that is, from Gus. And Fiji have gone back to the old ways. Fiji hands in Card City, says Zion. Oh, well, Tonga insane improvements. Samoa must have been different. I'm going to have to say this Pacific Nations Cup is going to be a backyard wrestling match. Says Markin, great match. I'm feeling a comeback to win for the Tongans. Fiji has got a rugby sevens. Now Pellegrini to be tackled again. They are about 15 metres out. Halo tries to go with the pick and go around the side. 10 metres out. Finianesi goes to big Ben Tame Funa. And creeping closer to their third try here for the Tongans. Some quick hands. Now 8 metres for Tuli Pai. A good shot on him by Ilya Thanakaivata. It's like Fiji doing what Tonga do. It's going to be a deliberate knock-on possibly against the Fijians. Yes, it is. It's against 6 for being offside, so I don't actually think it is for the deliberate knockdown. Halo. Looks like he's going to leave it for the big forwards again. Fiji must have whacked some Tongan carver last night. Says Zion now around the side. Jeffro Falemi, the ball's bounced out. And it is a penalty now. Double blow the whistle. This sounds like it's going to be Fiji's last warning. Home advantage must be big in these games, says Anoi. And Tonga good at rugby league. Okay, they've just said late tackle, high tackle, and offside, all against Fiji in quick succession. Thanks for the commentary, says Bill Grow, a dual sport sale fish. Thank you very much, mate. It's good to have you here. Tackles made 52 so far from Fiji, but they have missed 14. All the stats, apart from the one when it came to them scoring and their running meters, would say that they shouldn't be winning this game. But they are. Right, they've called for the scrum here, the Tongans. They'll be about 5 metres out from the try line. This is a good position to be in. How much time left on the red? I believe, if I'm correct, it should only be another maybe 2 or 3 minutes of the red card. Unless, of course, like, I think Angus Gardner got it wrong, but he said that they were actually going to have 20 minutes from when it was upgraded. But I believe your time during your yellow card does count towards that. So I think they're only 1 or 2 minutes away from being back to 15. 3 for Tonga. It'll be a good to sit next to on a long flight. Says Anoi now going short side. Halo looping around. Pellegrini sells the dummy, and it's another try now for the Tongans. 19-19. Who would have seen this coming when they were 19-0 down in the early stages of the fixture? Patrick Pellegrini, great start to the game. He's been kicking well. He's had 2 try assists, and now he's got a try to his name as well. I'm assuming Tonga, first few minutes was just a stage fright. Now they've improved. As long as they can hold on in the second half. Says Mark and Shane. Fiji has already given up. Just joined. Was there a red card? There was indeed for Adria Fafangi, the number 12 for the Fijians. It was a shoulder on the ground. And Tonga Beauty, says the Wallaby, in there as well. I've got a chance to get the lead here. Now, he hasn't really missed too much, but he has missed this one, unfortunately for him. I was just trying to see what the odds were for this game, because Fiji, I assume, were pretty much betting favourites by miles when they were 19-0 up. But now that it's 19-19 and Fiji do have a man disadvantage. I wonder what that does for the overall odds in this contest. But yeah, certainly a hectic first half that we've experienced. Right. They have just made the change, ladies and gentlemen. Fiji not kicking it off 10. So Tonga once again get themselves the possession, although Fiji locking themselves over the ball and win the penalty for not releasing any veterans playing for Tonga. Squad shows Tonga's most capped is Big Ben. Yeah, other than Ben Tamefuna, there really isn't a lot of experience. You could say Halo. Like, I think he's a slightly older player than some people think he is, but overall they just haven't really got a huge amount of experience across the board. In fact, I'm not even sure who their second most capped player would be in this Tongan side. Tonga still could do All Blacks second half foul. Must keep the pressure on, says Laurie. Looks like it's going to be the line out now for Fiji, just outside of the Tongan 22. Tonga have one too many. One backs out. Oh, the referee was in the way there, but luckily for Fiji, they have managed to retain the ball. Now, Ilya Thanakaivata, the clean-outs were late, but it is an advantage in favour of the Fijians now. Timo Mainavanua hits it up again to Vita Ikanaveri. He's already got himself one try in this contest. Nisi losing his footing. What's the score now, says Mark? At the moment, it is 19-19 in this contest. It's a very close one between these two sides. Fronting how only France and Tonga scored 3 tries against the World Champs Rugby World Cup 2023, says Laurie. It's going to be interesting to see what the world rankings have done to them this weekend. Because, of course, like it's crazy to think that even though South Africa have been beating a lot of top sides, because of the way that the Rugby World Rankings work, if New Zealand beats South Africa this weekend, oh, that's a great move from the Fijians, although unfortunately the last pass just didn't quite go into hands. But yeah, if New Zealand even beat South Africa by 1, Ireland become number 1 in the world. And then I believe South Africa would still be second. But that's not what they will want. And I don't even know if they can make it to number 1 afterwards because of the jump that New Zealand can get, if that makes sense. Like it is interesting to see how the world rankings do work in terms of who can all go up and who can all go down. Now passing it across. Ball is loose. Osifo Masi claims it on the halfway line. A bit scrappy from Fiji. Counter ruck was good. The penalty now is there. And I've seen a lot of refs get in the way this year. Here's the Wallaby. I guess that is just because a lot of sides like to target that channel where the referee normally is. And because the players are getting quicker now and a little bit more unpredictable to a certain extent, I guess the ref just doesn't know where he is and isn't able to stand. I reckon Tonga will run out of gas in the second half. Blame it on the halftime corned beef. Here's Zion. Just going to see it there. Fatuli Paya put his hand down and flicked it back onto his side. Referee saw it. He thought he was being sneaky, but it was quite obvious that he got it wrong. USA are playing in Japan. Eagles can get a bunch of ranking points if they win, says Gus. Yeah. And, yeah, it is an interesting one, isn't it? Because you actually, in a way, if you're not the top side, it benefits you to get... Oh, that's a great rolling maul try from Fiji. Just breaking off the back. Thanakaivata does manage to get it for Fiji. That will give them the lead heading into half-time. No, if we will... if we will take down Eddie's boys. Irish number 1 while on summer holiday, says Annoy. Yeah, I can guarantee you that's not what the South Africans want. In fact, we're going to go into, while we're at halftime, we're going to do the World Rugby Rankings calculator. Because that's always fun. The rolling maul working out well for Fiji. Giving that last minute try in the half. See, like, for Tonga, right? If Tonga win this game, they have the potential of gaining 2.5. So Fiji to win, they get plus 34. If Fiji win by a big margin, they get plus 50. Even if Tonga were to just win, though, theoretically, if Tonga just win, they will go up 1.66 and then get close to Portugal at 15th. Fiji would lose quite a substantial margin, and then there's a massive gap between them and the Italians. Again, PSS, who's can't PSS will get banned. Can't PSS, wait a minute. Oh, can you show the little match? Sorry, I got very confused. I was like, who is PSS? And I was thinking, is it Peter Steph the Toy? But no, it wasn't. Sadly, any sort of showing of the game gets you taken off YouTube, unfortunately. Saw 2 Cents Rugby shout you out on his channel, bro. Says, Ian, was that on the rugby, I've forgotten what their 2 Cents Gets Distracted podcast or a different video? Zion. Aussie is now above Italy. Go Aussie. Fiji is going to win. Says Sonam. See, that's the thing. Because of Australia and Argentina, like, Australia actually, like, the difference is massive, right? If Australia win up against the Argentines, Australia gain 1.39. Whereas if Argentina win, they gain 0.61. And if Australia win somehow by more than 15, Australia will go up to 7th in the world rankings because of the home advantage, as well as, like, just, it's just weird, isn't it? How much you can get that big boost if you're down. One of his update videos, he's talking about channels he recommends. Says, Zion there, I need to get Hamish a transfer for a rugby commentary deal here in the USA. Maybe. I'd love to do some MLR at some point, or even, I don't know what the next one down in the USA is, but it would be quite cool. Did on the podcast too, I think. Says Gus, and if the All Blacks lose, can Springboks make the top 3 again, beating the Pumas? Can the All Blacks go to top 3 of the rankings, winning their 3 games to come? Well, once again, it's interesting because, like, Argentina playing South Africa, right? Even though South Africa are away from home, the most they can gain from playing Argentina is 0.18. Whereas the most Argentina can gain, even if they just beat them by 1 point, they gain 1.88. So when you're at the top, if you don't do it strategically, you can all of a sudden just straight down. Aussie and Wales, Italy, Argies and Georgia is our level these days too. And Hamish, let's get that US dollar. I know the US dollar is a lot better than the New Zealand dollar at the moment in terms of the exchange rate. Now I'm just here doing a whole heap of calculations. But I think the most that a side can gain, no matter who it is 3 as the absolute most you can get. 2 for a win if you're a really low-ranked side, and then 3 for a big win if you're a low-ranked side. Like, no matter what. Flow Rugby should be swimming in money based on their fee, says Gus. Yeah, at the moment, I'm just setting up random matches on World Rugby. But yeah, if New Zealand win, what do they get there? So New Zealand, if they beat South Africa by any margin, oh no, not quite. Oh, yep, no, sorry, yep, I'm just doing the maths. We call it the Pacific Peso and get that Qatar dollar, big bucks for rugby. I love our ABs, but Colby and Moody got an advantage against Reese and Talia. Says Laurie, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Will Jordan slots into fullback as well, up against Villy LaRue for that game. The midfield combination still as strong as they have been for the sides. Moody only picked because Mapimpi is awaiting childbirth. Strange to think Moody so far down the roster. It is in a way, but it just shows, I guess, not so much his skill level, but just the depth in general that South Africa do have, because that's not even bringing in Edwell van der Merwe, who I think currently is injured, but at the same time, like, he's an option out on the wing. They've got, you know, you look at someone like a David Kriel, who's been very strong for the URC for the last couple of years. In fact, he had an insane season, yet somehow still couldn't make the box side because of how much depth they have got. It sucks All Blacks don't play Scotland this year, says the Wallaby. Because I think they play almost everyone else in that Six Nations, don't they? Or everyone except for England, of course. Go Will Jordan, it's his big chance. Says Mark, although the last time he played at fullback, he didn't score a try for the All Blacks, fun fact. That's about the only fact I have about him at fullback, though. But Fiji at the moment, leading 26 points to 19. A nice comeback coming from the Tongans, who are now $10 underdogs at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So everyone feels like now that I can't imagine what they would have been then when they were 19-0 down. I assume Tonga would have been like $100. Maybe. And Box only played 3 tests, end-of-year tests. Oz and New Zealand play 4, I think. Says Hanoi. Yeah, and then New Zealand also have that pre-one up against the Japanese as well. Excited for Satiti having a go. Says Laurie there. New Zealand do play England again this year. Says, oh yeah, no, they do, don't they? So they play England, they play Ireland, they play Wales, they play Italy. They don't play France, do they? I don't think. Maybe France are the team that I was trying to remember. Yeah, I put them at 8 and Artie at 7. Says Mark. And then they do have Japan in the pre-season. There we go. This will tell us. They do play France. So they don't play Wales and they don't play Scotland. I thought they played Wales. Maybe I'm thinking next year. It's when they will be playing them. But yeah, Japan, England, Ireland, France, Italy to close out their matches. And then for the South Africans, that is their Rugby Championship. I don't think I've got theirs anymore. I think I moved it away. I've got Australia's and I've got Argentina's, but that doesn't really help us. But, yeah, bit interesting in terms of who will be playing who. Australia do get the games that New Zealand do not, though. They get Wales and Scotland alongside the Irish in the early stages of the December. And Japan lose by 100 plus. Says the Wallaby. Oh, that's a tough 3-week stretch. Says Hanoi. Yeah, there's some big ones that are coming up. Currently possession in this match, it seems like 59% has actually gone to the home side, Tonga. They say 5 penalties each side, but I think Fiji were up to 6 or 7 by the end of the half. Do you think Australia will get a grand slam in those matches, the review? I don't think so, no. I think that up against the Irish, they'll struggle. Up against the Welsh in Wales, they'll probably struggle a little bit. And then game up against Scotland, honestly, it might be a bit of a hard one as well. I really don't know where Australia will be in November, which I guess is a good thing in some regards because we can't anticipate much and we can't, I guess, expect too much. But at the same time, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how all these sides finish the year. Because, of course, once we finish the year, we've got to wait all the way until it will be the February internationals, I believe, for the Six Nations. What do you think of South Africa joining Europe and becoming Sevens Nations? What do you think, or who do you think will replace South Africa in our Rugby Championship? I don't see it happening. I know that they've talked about it for a long time. They've also talked about New Zealand and South Africa tours soon becoming a thing, so maybe that is why they're trying to step in that direction so that they can play in Europe for the Six Nations. But I know that this sounds quite harsh, right? But I think the only people who want South Africa to join the Six Nations is South Africa. At least from the information that I've received, it just seems to be the case of South Africa have kind of invited themselves into a competition that doesn't want them. You know, it's like when you get that kid at the birthday party that no one actually wanted there. You know, they're just like, oh, I got an invite from someone who told me that I was invited, but really they weren't. I feel like that's what it's like at the moment for the Six Nations. That's not to say they won't end up in it eventually because, you know, you've got to involve that kid in the birthday party. We have got there, will South African players get burnout as they're in year-round competitions in Southern Hemisphere Rugby Test Comp, says Hanoi. Yeah, although the depth does help a little bit for them at the moment. You know, they've got plenty of players that aren't playing in that Springbok team that could be if they needed them. And I feel like that's something that's massively beneficial to have, just that extra bit of depth. But second half of this one, not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Very close to the second half. We've already seen a massive amount of points. We've seen 45 scored in this one already. Just showing some highlights. I think it's the NRL playoffs. Either this weekend or the weekend after, I believe, is when we're into the NRL playoff games. The Greyhounds, South Africa, still sour from after COVID of the Super Rugby exits, but suits them travel-wise. Touring seems like they're staying in Europe. Says Laurie. I wasn't quick enough to mute that one. That one snuck up on me. But yeah, it's an intriguing one because they could fit into a European competition. It's just, like, I don't see it ever not being the Six Nations. Like, in terms of if it... Or I should say, I don't see it not being the Six Nations involving Italy. Because Italy actually have quite a bit of say in the Six Nations competition. So I would say, like, you're probably more likely to have, like you said, the Sevens or the Eight Nations, which I will admit doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but that doesn't mean it won't eventually sound better. It's like the Bunnings NPC. It was the Mitre 10 Cup for so long, and now everyone just kind of knows it as the NPC or the Bunnings NPC. They're just showing me ads of chocolate now. This just seems a bit cruel, really. Do you see Adesanya got picked in a street fight in Auckland's K Road? I did not. Got picked. What does picked mean? Like, as in, like, just ended up in a street fight? I don't really know the hip lingo. Unfortunately, Hanoi. Like, he got into a street fight, is it? Or he, like, got called out in a street fight? Or he did a street fight? I'm sorry, I have no idea what it means. First NFL game just ended. Kansas City Chiefs over Baltimore Ravens, says Gus. And there as well, one moment, I'm about to sneeze, so we will mute again. We are good. They'll introduce Georgia and a few other Euro countries before South Africa, says Peter Wild. And remember the Ranfurly Shield Super 12 and Tri-Nations, says Zion. And so, yeah, as he got called out to a street fight. Was he, like, at the street fight, or was he just called out by some random guy in Auckland? I feel like I'm going to have to look up some more context of that one, aren't I? So that I know roughly what's going on. In fact, what's happening this weekend in the UFC? Is it the Sphere card yet? We must be getting close. O'Malley, Marab, or not quite? No, this weekend it's Gilbert versus Brady. It must be next weekend, yeah. Next weekend, Sean O'Malley versus Marab Davalishvili. Brian Ortega on that card too. Valentina Shevchenko. Bit of fun. Challenged, says Hanoi. Who challenged him? Was he like a big bloke or was he just a random guy? The guy that called Izzy out got lucky as he would have put him in the hospital, says Zion. Yeah, he got called out by his McLaren on the road, says Laurie. An ITM Cup, if you remember, in New Zealand, or I remember in New Zealand, says the Wallaby. And Fiji will win this match, says Jim. Yeah, they are just about to make their way back out onto the field, ready to go. It is now overcast for this game, so the weather conditions can change just like that. And that is exactly what has happened here for this game, although it looks like on the far side of the field, the sun is still out, so interesting. Are you excited to the Springboks tour in 2026? I am, but at the same time, I'm a little bit worried that that's going to change international rugby as a whole, because people have talked about whether or not it's going to take away from the Rugby Championship or it's going to take away from other international matches. But if it's going to be a thing that they can fit into the international window, then it could be a good idea. I just don't want it to be at the cost of New Zealand playing Northern Hemisphere sides, if that makes sense. Must be Fiji, says Semi, and there as well. They are just talking about that 20-minute red card rule being in play. A few debuts could be taking place for the Tongans a little bit later on in this contest, but we are just about ready to go. Play the video, says Lossie. Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube, but can recommend a few options for being able to watch it. I believe Rugby Pass TV may have this game. But then also, I'd like to think the highlights would be on Sky Sport after the game has concluded. I hope we don't get what we did in 1981. Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal, would it? Nice chase there. Brilliant work from Fiji. Oh, and then he's dropped the ball. Tell you what, that was a massive chance for the Fijians there. Taking the kickoff, and then just that next pass slipped out of the fingertips. I think it was Tabua Vau. This is a fantastic chase from Karawa Levu. Just a little bit too casual from Sam Tuitupo. He didn't expect someone to come flying at him, and then the ball just put down at the last moment. Angus Gardner packing down the scrum, currently about 7 metres out from Tonga's line, but they almost got caught out big time at the start of that second half. Now the ball is there. Halo goes back into the pocket to Pellegrini. Overall 77-point total for the game, says Richie. It's a tricky one. Someone said 58 earlier on, and I think we will get 58. It's just whether or not the second half we see slowing down in terms of the amount of points being scored, because we saw about 38 points in the first 20 minutes. And then the next 20 minutes, we only really saw one try. Big run from Albert Tuisui. But it can't be denied how quickly the Fijians have started in the second half. Ganaveri again, going off to the left-hand side. Lamani. Sell the dummy. Muntz falls down. Going to the left-hand side. Little inside ball to Karawalevu. Still 30 metres out from the try line. Left-hand side, Muntz. Another step. Wrestled down by Mateili. Lamani to the right. Kanaveri. A random guy. Looked same build as TJ Perenara. So no 77 down. 77's not unlikely. Like, I assume you've already put the bet on. Oh, that's a good turnover for the Tongans there. But yeah, like, it's possible if Fiji start finding their rhythm again, because we've had 45 points, so you only need another 30. Ooh, 32 is quite a few, isn't it? But it's possible. 5 tries would get you there. No, I'm not betting. Oh, if you're not betting, then you're all good then. No worries. Nice work from Ben Tamefuna. Get over that one. So he had 36 international matches. The fact that he is the most experienced player is massive. I think it's going to be 2 tests again. There may be 2 tests in the Rugby Championship, so maybe 4 test tour. Says Brandon. If we're going to do that, though, we might as well make the Bledisloe back to 3 matches. Because I think the only reason they didn't do that was because South Africa and Argentina, it was unfair to them not getting as many games for the Rugby Championship as New Zealand were getting. Like, as in, like, getting to play as many throughout the window. But, yeah, as long as they can work it so that it doesn't give either side a massive advantage, because I don't think they need it at the moment. And good night, Hamish. Work tomorrow, says Robert. So hopefully do have a fun day at work. Oh, I'm worrying, says Richie. Wait, so you do or you don't have a bet? So you're worried about 77, but you haven't backed 77. Is that the correct statement? Or it's another drop ball from Fiji. And I wonder if the All Blacks haka will be different for the passing of the Maori King this week, says the Wallaby. It'll be interesting what happens with the haka in Cape Town, to be honest, because, like, South Africa Rugby Union apologised for what happened the last haka, but I feel like there might be a chance that the Cape Town Stadium try and rebel a little bit and go, yes, they apologised, but we didn't, and then they might make some noise. But I'd like to think that it wouldn't be that way. Right, says Richie. Wait, what was right? So you did or you didn't back it? I'm so confused, Richie. 35 minutes remaining. What time is the AB's game tomorrow? So it is a 3 a.m. kickoff on Sunday morning New Zealand time. So we are going to be starting once again 90 minutes beforehand. It absolutely flew by last week, and we will be doing it again for this one. Looks like a bit of attention for Anisi here. Deep breaths being taken at the start of the second half for both of these sides. Yeah, it's an interesting lineup from Fiji. I think that was something that they just want a clarification on. That's a horrible time. It is. Will you be covering the Argentina game? We certainly will be. I will mention last week was brutal, though, because we covered New Zealand versus South Africa. And then, like, after that game was over, we had 5 hours or so before Argentina-Australia started. So it wasn't enough time to get a full, like, decent sleep by the time I had something to eat and finished doing a review and setting up that next stream. So I think I got like 90 minutes of sleep or something, which just felt awful. Who do you think will win? I think Fiji should take this game, although they're making it hard work at the moment with the amount that they have been dropping the ball and also those little errors sneaking in. Mate, is Fiji using the 2-3-3-2 attack? Says Sale. I honestly couldn't tell you. I know that they were using a -1 earlier on in the game because they had 14 on the field from their red card. But I think, to be honest, they just keep dropping the ball too early for us to actually see that backline functioning, to see what they're actually setting up like. Now going back across to the left-hand side for the Tongans. Oh, they want it out wide here. Filimore, Hala. Oh, no, they've gone the other way. He's not going to get a chance, although it looks like Tonga are still going to find a little bit of space here with Fini Anisi. Got the offload away now. Tonga inside of the 22 of the Fijians. Have any clue who holds the Don Clark Cup at the moment? No idea. To be honest, that was an awkward knee bender. I reckon last week was bad timing for what happened when the haka. Apologies. I was just media drama. Says the Wallaby. Yeah, I think there was a bit of a miscommunication for it, like, because some people took it to heart, but I honestly think that the plane was supposed to fly over after the national anthems, which then I think that the All Blacks, like, they were probably supposed to start the haka roughly when they did. It's just I don't think someone anticipated how long it takes to fly a big plane over a stadium, like, after a national anthem is finished, if that makes sense. Like, trying to turn a big plane and get it exact timing right when you can't hear the music probably makes it challenging. 90 minutes of stuff, says Annoy there. Now passed on the outside. Chance here for Karawalevu. Kicks it back onwards. Just manages to keep it in the field of play. Oh, big shot coming in. And Fiji conceding the penalty again. Argentina will be massively disappointed if they lose twice at home to the Australians. That's the thing, though. In the World Rugby rankings, it would really, really hurt the Argentines. Like, really bad. Because if they lose to Australia, they could either lose 1.39 or they could lose 2.08. So theoretically, Argentina have the potential here of dropping all the way from 7th down to 8th and then down to 9th if they lose by more than 15, which shouldn't happen, but yeah, there's a chance that they go from 7th to 8th and then Australia get that big leapfrog. So basically Fiji is relying on broken play a little bit, but then saying that, I think that this game has had a lot of it, so you have to be, I guess, skilled enough to be able to attack from a broken game. Wallabies to win 6 games straight. So, wait, 6 games straight. Against Argentina? No, because they lost against Argentina last year, didn't they? 6 games straight against who? They lost twice against South Africa, the Wallaby. Where are the other wins coming from? I have a feeling the ref that was part of Fiji's coaching staff has left. Look at the discipline today. Says Zion. So I think you're talking about Glenn Jackson, aren't you? So there's going to be another sub. I think Onehunga Havili was going to continue, but Sakalia will now make his way on. I've just said one of the more experienced players. He's got 19. Can you say hello to my wife, Mary? Wife Weary, this is her first watching of rugby, says Valhalla. So shout out to you, Mary. Hopefully you are enjoying it. Hopefully you do. It's a thing, though. I was going to say enjoying watching, but wait, can you see the game, Valhalla, or are you just listening to me? So hopefully you're either enjoying watching or listening to rugby. One of the two, Glenn Jackson is the new Drua coach. Says Sale, looks like there is a player down for Tonga at the moment. They've just made a sub. They might have to make another one here. He's going to make his way up. Just by the looks of it. For Ahokove. Mate, I'm Tongan. Hopefully they can pull off the upset. Says War there. And yeah, they're not a mile out of this game. If they can score now, they get right back into the contest. Which would be the big goal for them at the moment. Definitely before those rain clouds in the background arrive. So it is about to absolutely bucket down. Stolen at line-out time again for the Fijians. One of Hawke's Bay, Tasman or Wellington will win the NPC in my opinion, says the reviewer. Hawke's Bay, Tasman or Wellington. Okay. Do you think Taranaki have any chance in the comp? I know that they normally go right near the back end of the competition. Listening to you at the moment, trying to find the stream in the United States. Says Valhalla. And Fiji playing schoolboy rugby with all the discipline. Says Stream. It's going to be thrown over the top again. Fiji will end up with the ball. And here comes Tavira Ikanaveri. Makes his way up to the halfway line. Going off to the left-hand side. It'll flick through the legs. Osefo Masi goes away to Apele Momo. Chipped in behind. Waiting for that one to sit up. Oh, that was a clothesline coming in afterwards. He pulled out straight away. Okay. They were thinking about checking it there. Angus Gardner says he doesn't need to. Who you got winning the South Africa versus New Zealand game? I'll be completely honest. Like, it's really tricky to say. Because I have just, in a way, I have no idea how this New Zealand side's going to play because they've made those changes that a lot of people have wanted to see for a while. Now they finally have done them, but I honestly, like, South Africa is my safe bet at the moment because they have gone with one of their stronger sides. I am curious, though, to know if New Zealand had gone with the same team as last week, would South Africa have gone with the team that they've got here, or would they have mixed it up a little bit? Because with them announcing it later, it meant that they had that ability of making late switches if they needed to. Wallabies win streak begins, I hope, in the future to come. I had a feeling you would be covering this game. Thanks, bro, says Kanye Ketchup. No worries at all. It's going to be another penalty going the way of Fiji this time. Offside against Pellegrini. Hamish, have you got a spare bicycle with no seat? Says Shogun. I haven't got a spare bicycle with no seat, but I got a bicycle with a bent wheel, if that helps. There's a video of how that wheel got bent, which I don't think we will ever show. But we had fun. You had to be there. The story would not make sense, but there is a video of it. 32, New Zealand, South Africa 19, says Peter Wild. It's on Peacock in the USA, says Gus. Finina Norfo now has made his way onto the field. That is for Aniseko, and also Tuifua is out there for Falimi. I'll get in that rolling maul. Marching forward here for Fiji. The one who also does commentaries in the 7 series with Tano Umang and Greg Clark. The one, is that Carl Tanana that you are talking about, PSS? Maybe. If it's still rideable, can I borrow it? What do you need it for, Shogun? Where are you riding your bike to? And thank you, Gus, says Valhalla. Also, why'd you want one with no seat? That's probably the bigger question there. Yes. Yeah, Carl Tanana, I think did he retire from the Sevens commentary? I think he was going to, or maybe he retired from the NPC commentary to do the Sevens. I know it was one of the two. Eliza Druasisi is now onto the field. New Zealand 43, South Africa 17. Tell you what, that would be a very impressive game, that is for sure. Time is off again. This second half has gone a lot slower than the first. We've had 12 minutes so far of it. Probably taken about 20 minutes to get through. But we've no seat of sus, bro, says Zion. Now scrum going down again. Halo still starting as the 9. Actually got quite a few changes here, Tonga, compared to just last week. Halo actually made his way off the bench. A big push. Going to be available for Pellegrini. Ayala after the bike without a seat. Super sus, bro. Says Valhalla. Nicely thrown in quickly by the Fijians. Armstrong Ravola going across now to the left-hand side. Eliza Druasisi gets it to Masi. Not sus if the lights are off. Yeah, although if you're riding at night, you probably do need a light, don't you? Under 73, please. Yeah, at the moment, the points have dried up big time. So you're probably going to be all right there, I would say. It's going to be kicked off. Oh, he slapped it back there. Karawalevu doing beautifully. Now Rune Maui gets the offload on the inside. Making the low tackle there. Timo Maya Navanoa lined up by a two-man Tongan tackle. Now off to the left-hand side again. Caleb Muntz goes off to Osifu Masi. Trying to spin out. Can't quite get away. I'm issuing a yellow card to Shogun. Says Valhalla. Samu Tawaki again. Lamani. Cross to Davida Ikanaveri. Caleb Muntz. Oh, I cut out pass, and it's another drop ball for the Fijians. Fiji should pick up in the final 20 minutes when Tonga fitness slacks. Says Sale, if Will Jordan is playing, he will get tries, says the Wallaby. Although the last game that he played at 15, he did not score. Fun fact. I'm TMO and upgrading Valhalla yellow, says Peter Wild. Fiji needs someone like a Ronnie Saw in the back line, the sledgehammer, as he's known. With a nickname like that, you can kind of tell what type of player he is. Hello, everyone. I am Salima from South Africa. So, yeah, be sure to pop in for that South Africa versus New Zealand game. Salima, last week it was absolutely hectic throughout their live stream, but we do a big build-up of the match. We get to talk all throughout it, so you get to meet a lot of people on there. Got a great community that we've been able to build up for rugby all around the world. But Ben Tame Funa will make his way from the field. He's had a great game there, being applauded. Just said he was in a moon boot yesterday. So that's not good. Hamish, I googled Tonga, doesn't have a single traffic light there. Says stay hunky. That's impressive. Can we go back to talking about goats from last week, please, guys? Thanks. Says Shogun. We don't have George here for the goat chat, unfortunately. I'm still trying to remember what it's called. That game that I mentioned last week. There's like a normal name for it, not the one that I mentioned. But I can't remember what the normal name is. It's not What's the Time, Mr. Wolf. What'd you have to do for that game? That was an old school game as well. Some from New Zealand might know it. I think you had to take a certain number of steps or something. No, but another scrum, ladies and gents. We've had plenty of them throughout this second half. Just back to back to back to back. At the moment, not a lot of free-flowing rugby taking place just yet. But that does not mean we won't have more. New Zealand South Africa commentary will be excellent as usual. The bollocks from the South Africa supporters will be 90% of the chat as usual. Says Peter Wild. That's a big scrum from Fiji, but Tonga managing to get that ball out. Pellegrini going for the little chip behind. He's already had 2 chipped kick assists. He almost had a third, but Lamani manages to clean it up. Gets his offload away. Tubu Aval now going off to the left-hand side. Tharakai Vata finds Osefu Masi counter-attack coming for Fiji. Can you explain, Peter? I'm just learning the rules. Says Valhalla. Now Another sniping run. Lamani goes off to Muntz. Now Dirialangi. There's an advantage for offside. Vothi. Only 30 metres out from Tonga's line. Drinking game, take a shot every time Fiji drop the ball. I need a liver transplant now. And nice watching it on Peacock now. Awesome, says Valhalla. And it should have the games later on as well, between USA and Japan, as well as the ones next week that will also be taking place. Put about 70k saves. I put about 70k. Score will be under 73 points. Do you think I'm going to make it, guys? I think you've got a decent chance. Just because, like, they're lining up 3-pointers now for Fiji just to break it up a little bit and slow the game down. So, with this kick going over, it would be a total of 40... What would it be? They'll be up to there. They'll be 48 points in this game. Well, Valhalla, I suspect no bike seat equals blood rectum. And nearly damn near killed him, so instant red card. And when the URC starts, will your sleep patterns be more difficult? Absolutely yes. Like, even currently, like, I'm trying my best to keep it almost normal, but it worked for, like, 3 days. You know? I was, like, start of last week or this week, I was kind of, you know, out of bed by 9, 10 a.m. And then by near the end of this week, it's been like 3 p.m. and 2 p.m. Today, I was up at a really early hour. I was up at like 8:50, but that's because I had things on. But yeah, sleep schedules never go well for the URC. You guys just aren't open-minded to no-seat bicycle? Says Shogun. I mean, it would be a great way to exercise. Not the seat part of it, but like in terms of making you want to go further in the distance, because as soon as you get tired and as soon as you try and sit down, you got to get back up because you don't want to be penetrated by a seat, you know. Now, Frank Lamani puts it in behind. Now, it's going to be another offside against the Tongans, thank you. Says Salima there. Now, big run forward from Penny Ravai. Gets the offload. Lamani goes back to Caleb Muntz. He went inside. I think he should have gone outside, but it's still going to work, I believe. Tabuaval just gets over, and Fiji score themselves the try. So that 3 points was a strategic one. An exercise bike, says Peter Wild. And yeah, Tabuaval, his first try of the Pacific Nations Cup. Looks like he might have some sort of leg injury, unfortunately. They're just talking about 20 red being offside. Brother, what do you think? If the Fiji team was the same, a team who beat the Aussies in the 2023 World Cup, as in like how they go on this game, I feel like they would be winning it more. I always wonder what would have happened if they had Caleb Muntz for that Rugby World Cup, though. Because I think Fiji did perform extremely well throughout their World Cup, and a lot better than some people probably expected them to. But, like, you know, Caleb Muntz going into that competition was a player that everyone expected to have a massive tournament. And then sadly got injured just before the first game. But that one has gone over from Caleb Muntz, and that is now going to make the score up to 36 points to 19. This is basically the Fijian draw team. Says Sale, and Fiji would do okay against Australia and Oz. Or sorry, Oz and Argentina, I should say. It's a good ball on the inside to Tabuaval. I thought initially maybe they should have looked to go wide. Fiji were frustrating to watch during the World Cup. They couldn't execute much. But even in the process of not being able to execute, they still had some like really strong moments. Like so many people after that game up against Wales started supporting Fiji because they felt like they had been hard done by in that contest. They should have taken Ben Vula in the World Cup. Says Sale. Yeah, like Vilamoni Botitu, he didn't do too badly in the chances he got. Did Fiji beat Wales in the Cup? They did not, no. They were close, but that game had its fair share of controversy. I'll say you guys need to look out for Takuwanga, the next Thal for Fiji. His French club won't let him play for Fiji, says Shogun. It's a shame when those overseas players. It's like for Nai Habosi, how everyone keeps on going, why aren't they playing him? But it is because he's locked into a overseas contract that they just won't let him play international rugby. Like, there's probably only the very small window where he's available, which is pretty much the Rugby World Cup. Even the November internationals, they don't really seem to let their French players go too often. Now 20 minutes remaining. Whina Norfolk going to be throwing that ball in. Now rush defence on Pellegrini. They've tried it a few times, but the last time they rushed up at him, he actually got a try assist. Oh, hello. I'm back across to Lotu and Nisi, trying to bump through the tackle attempt on Tavera Ikaneveri. He's managed to tie up his legs. Now to the right-hand side again. Nice step. Oh, that's close. No. I said no to the penalty. So he is instead being penalised for slowing it down. Argentina would hammer Fiji easy. Says Zion, little chipping behind from Tonga. Cleaned up by Lamani. Looks like the penalty advantage was over, so that one will go into touch. And now Tonga have got themselves the line out. Tonga sucks balls. I mean, they're slowly drifting behind in this game, right? But one more try here could change it for them again. We saw how quickly they fought back 19 points in the first half. Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, Box, ABs, Aussie, and Argentina, Georgia, Japan should make their own competition. Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa, some quality Tier 2 teams. Could trouble some Tier 1 teams. Says Mark, because I think there were originally, well, there's a world competition coming soon, which is Rugby Championship, Six Nations, and then also 2 other teams, which more than likely will be Fiji and Japan. But that might be debatable. Maybe we see other sides. Oh, that's a big shot on Pellegrini again. Lomani, nice work. Gets it away to Masi, and that is a tremendous pickup from Karualevu. They just have to make sure that it wasn't knocked on initially from Fiji, but if it wasn't, then Fiji have scored again. The scoreboard's not even updating anymore. It's doing the time, but it's not doing the score because the score is now 41-19. Hang on, they want to check this one. I think there could have been a deliberate knockdown here. Or not even so much a deliberate, it was just a knock on, I think. Yeah, it's going to be no try. Clear knock on from the TMO. We'll go right back, and it's going to be a no try for Karualevu. Sup, boy, says Fasti. Welcome in, mate. Ah, yeah. It hits the hand of Meli Dedialangi. And that Fiji winger is a specimen. He's doing extremely well in terms of his handling, but also just commitment to chasing the ball. Something that sometimes wingers don't utilise enough. Score is back to 36-19, even though the scoreboard does not want to admit it. You can just hear the pain that Pellegrini was in as well. Imagine Moonga, Frizzell, Finau Whainanoku, Atuanga Fasi, future experience with Tonga Rugby World Cup, says Laurie. I know that's pretty zesty to say. Achimo's allowed to check knock-ons. Now they are indeed. Yep. So they are able to do it. Oh, no, I see what you've done there. Maybe, if I know what you're referencing. We have got the... I see you folks, 6:30 a.m, been up all night. I shut, says Peter Wild, so hopefully you do sleep well, and hopefully you are excited for the games just around the corner. We are going to be live for the Springboks versus All Blacks game, as well as the Pumas taking on the Wallabies. Booze loudly, says Valhalla. No, I have Fiji minus 14.5. Wow, says Valhalla. And where is Shannon Frizzell? Does he still play? He does. He is in Japan, I believe, at the moment, Shannon Frizzell. Oh, either Japan or France. I think it's Japan, though. So Rotui Solia, he has made his way onto the field now. That is for Vothi. The second half has found it, it felt extremely long. Will New Zealand pick from overseas eventually, do you think? Probably not. I feel like they're so set in their ways that they won't, but then eventually they may have to. But I get the feeling they would rather lose games with local players than to win games with overseas players, if that makes sense. All right, looks like another change is being made for Tonga. Poleni, I think they actually forgot to put him on the field before the scrum, but the 19-year-old he's had 3 international matches already, which actually makes him kind of experienced when you look at this Tongan side, believe it or not. Sakalia, I think he has had 19 games. He was, I think, the second most for the Tongans. Most going to Bentame Funa. There's going to be another penalty. This time they're going to take it quickly. Now Nye goes to the short side. A quick pick and go around the side of the breakdown. That is a massive shot coming in from the Fijians. Now Nye, mentioned he has been playing in the MLR, now a competition that is licensed in Rugby 25. I did see Pellegrini trying to find his way through, but that is going to be very hard to do here, and that is another penalty going the way of Fiji. Still 45 points. In fact, no, sorry, 55 points in total scored between these two sides. Penny Ravo, the man who got in there. That new rugby game looks pretty mud so far. I think it's slowly getting better, but it's still a long way off. But, like, yes, we probably should be doing some sort of update for it, because we've only done one video on it, and that was that first initial live stream that we did back in the day when it was pretty much unplayable. But, like, eventually I'd like to be able to do some sort of career mode or something on it. Do you think Lisa Carrington make a good women's... Hang on. An email popped up in front of it. I can't see the rest. Women's All Black. Fend, though, would KO someone with their guns, though, says Laurie. I mean, she'd probably be decent. Like, rugby sevens, for some reason, I feel like would work for Carrington more because of the endurance side of things. Nothing beats John Olomu from the 90s. Other pub stakes good in New Zealand. They're not too bad, depending on what pub you go to. I feel like George is the perfect one to ask about stakes. He's a bit of a connoisseur. Going back across to the right-hand side. Osefo Masi passes on the outside to Kitione Salawa, who just stays in the field of play by the looks of it. Lamani back across to Muntz to Vida Ikanaveri. Running straight into the opposition. Out to the left-hand side using their replacements, and here Reti Hidit is holding the ball a penalty. It is if you're holding on to it in the breakdown while the opposition are trying to get a turnover, if that makes sense. Kind of like a not releasing, if that makes any sort of sense. Now, going to the right-hand side, Frank Lamani goes to Muntz. Little chip in behind, and the mark is called by Nye. Alomu and Yueli Videri Webis says as Zion. And also we have their Blues team of the late 90s with Lomu and Videri on the wings. Going back across to this left-hand side, Sisi finds Tanakai Vata, gets the ball in the field of play. He's offside. Yeah, he was about 2 or 3 meters offside for Pellegrini there. And now Fiji have another opportunity to add a couple more points. Okay, so the ref pretty much just explaining that one. Because the ruck was formed, it meant that Pellegrini was then in an offside position when he went in and grabbed the ball. Fiji have decided to get this one towards the corner now. I've just actually said there on the commentary that it actually could have gone in his favour. What if someone started an AI version of your commentary? Says Zion. I mean, don't know. I guess they can try. I feel like the AI won't make as many random, like, weird statements as myself, though. You know, because every once in a while, I'll say a sentence, and afterwards I go, why did I say that one? And you guys normally go, why do you say that one? But in AI, I just feel like you wouldn't get that same feeling, if that makes sense. This is going sideways for Fiji at the moment. I'll go on left-hand side. I believe it was the replacement, Pina Matawalu. Oh, little looping ball off to Meriteri-Alangi. Couldn't quite reach out, but Matawalu now goes to Whanakai Vata 1 metre from the line. Tonga trying to survive, but can they? They cannot. How would some Fiji UFC fighters go? It'd be interesting. Because, like, we've seen Samoans, I think we've seen a couple Tongans, maybe not in the UFC, but Tongans when it comes to either boxing or mixed martial arts. Are there any Fijian? I think we've looked this up before. I think we actually Googled it on a Sevens live stream like a year ago. Because we were trying to work out who was the most well-known Fijian mixed martial artist. And we found a whole heap of people who I'd never heard of, but they had some cool nicknames, if I remember rightly. It's a big shot coming in on Whanakai Vata. Soa Palelai. I was a Tongan Aussie UFC guy. Says Hanoi. Yeah, I don't think we've had any Fijians. That is now going to make the score 43 points to 19. That person have 77 was what they wanted it to be under, wasn't it? Slowly getting towards 77, I'll be honest. 2 more tries could happen in the last 10 minutes or so of this contest. Nine minutes remaining now, though, in this contest. In fact, 8 minutes by the looks of it. On the clock, the mark is called. Fijians are too kind-hearted, says Hanoi. Right, 62 points have been scored so far in this game. So theoretically, there would need to be 3 tries or 2 tries and something. Tongans always slow down in the second half. There's Zion. It does look like it's going to be a relatively similar scoreline to what it was between Fiji and Samoa, and then also what it was between Tonga and Samoa. Seems to be a trend in this competition of someone gets around that 40, the other team gets around the 20. Now getting ready to throw this one in for Whinianorfo. That one's going to be slapped away. Great hands from Fiji, though. Managing to get a clean pickup for Hereti Hetit. Who would win Tonga versus Italy, says Novmum. Italy, I believe, beat them in July, if I'm correct. I know that Samoa beat Italy, but I know that Tonga didn't quite get that same rhythm, and I think they lost by about 20 points, somewhere around there. Now going off to the left-hand side. Nice skip pass. A nice fend as well. Flicked out the back door. If it's gone backwards, Karawa Levu. He's going to score the try. He had one disallowed earlier on, but he will get that one. Does South Africa win the Freedom Cup? Should New Zealand immediately change formats to points differential when it gets the cup, says Hanoi? I don't think so. I think if New Zealand lose it, then they should know that they should have done better, but then they'd have 2 games in New Zealand next year, I believe, or the year after, so that would work. Oh, they're actually going upstairs to see if there was obstruction. I feel like there was obstruction, but I don't know whether or not it stopped the try. Oh no, potential forward pass. I actually called it at the time. I said forward pass. But, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's all right. Okay, Angus Gardner saying he's all right with it. Oh. Right, Damon Murphy, the TMO said it's going to be disallowed for a forward pass. The Fiji coach rattles his players after the game. Ridiculous amount of penalties and knock-ons. And well, bro, another review, too many rules, dog. Says Valhalla, so that is another no try. Karawa Levu has had 2 disallowed tries in this match so far. Under 73, please. I think you're going to be all right. Definitely if they keep on disallowing these tries, you're going to be completely fine. See that? That looks fine from that angle, but it's the wide angle that makes it look worse. It does make it look like it was for this ref is a massive joke. Says Stephen Pope. Let's hope people aren't saying that in 36 hours' time. Or else then we're in trouble for another interesting match between the Box and the ABs. Clear forward, I reckon. Says Inouye. 5 minutes remaining now. Ball's going to be fed in by Saosi Nai. Oh, this ref needs to be banning absolute mug. Says Stephen Pope. The camera angle makes it look like a forward pass, says Valhalla. Now getting ready to go for the box kick. Garner trying to be the boss of all on-field proceedings. Yeah, well, he was like, for me, it looks all right. And then Damon Murphy was like, excuse me, I want this changed, thank you. And then the ref went, oh, fine, we'll do it then. Like Garner, he was like, yeah, nah, she's all right, looks backwards enough to me. Currently 4.5 minutes remaining. How perfect these TMO are looking for. Says Pathili there. I'm fed up with those off these cheating refs. Says Stephen, under 70 please, or 73 please, I need the 70k. Says Salima, can you guarantee that you won't bet again though if you did win Salima? Or will you just end up putting that money on something else? How come Gardner got relegated to Pacific Games? I think it's because of location-wise. You know, a lot of the referees in the Rugby Championship are Northern Hemisphere or from countries outside of the teams playing. So I think that's the trend that they've decided to go with in the competition, which is why we see Angus Gardner, Nick Berry. Oh, interception! Where's Karawa Levu? Give him the ball. No, it's a Sefo Masi. He was never going to pass it. Watch this get chalked off. Says Stephen Pope there, I take Fiji, and they disallow 2 tries, says Valhalla. But Fiji have now scored the try, I believe. 2 tries tonight for Sefo Masi, go, go, go. Says Valhalla there as well. I've said it's heartbreaking for Tonga, but how many chances do they need? Tulipai just looking for that pass, and Masi was there. Karawa Levu, he was never going to pass that on Sefo Masi. Although I would have loved to see him give it to Karawa Levu. They got 20 seconds now, Fiji, to be able to line up this kick. Back to video ref, a Y ref looking at this again. I don't think he is. I think that one has gone over. And that now makes the score 50 points to 19 in favour of Fiji. That's 69 points at the moment. I didn't realise you were under 73, Salima. I thought you were under 77. That means one more try and your one's gone. See, I thought you were... Oh, no, you were under 73 points. Okay. No more tries in your case then, or else then that will be gone. All right, here comes another review. That's the mark taken by Fiji. Oh, great Fiji, poor Tonga. No try now, says Salima there. Is this in Fiji? No, it is in Tonga. Back in the pocket, Caleb Muntz now will look for the clear and kick. And does get it into touch. I think the ball stayed in, actually. Tonga now have one last chance being able to score another try. There's Pellegrini. He's gone through. He's got the man with him, but he couldn't link up. Now finds the offload to Lotu Anisi. 2 minutes remaining. Tonga getting the offload away. Back across the Osinai. Oh, Ravai, he's a second man, so he's not able to go for that ball. Now off to the side again there. Onto it. Is it the penalty? Yes, it is for Fiji. Managing to win the penalty inside of their own 22. The replacement hooker, Mizulami Dolakoto. Now 1 minute left. Oh no, in fact 2.5 minutes remaining is what the referee has just said. So that clock is a little bit slow, which does give Fiji plenty of time to kick this one into touch and get one last attack going in this matchup. I don't think anyone will be as nervous as Salima at the moment. Need to kick this ball out. They have been able to do so, although they've still got 2 minutes left in this game. Islami Dolokoto throws it down the middle, claimed by Fiji. Matawalu going across to the left-hand side. Osefo Masi looking to go through. Couldn't find his next passing option. Now Caleb Muntz almost tackled on the halfway line. Manages to fend out of 2 challenges. Counter up coming from Tonga. It's looking good as well. They managed to get the turnover that they were after. The ball's gone backwards for Tuli Paia now. Running it forward. Gets the pass on the outside for the corner here for Tonga. He's going to be dragged down, the youngster. And he's just pushed into touch. I could go for a Tahitian treat. Is anyone familiar with this drink? I don't think so. Tahitian treat. I don't think I've heard of it. Right. Angus Gardner just getting the update of how long is remaining. I believe it's about 60 seconds. Fiji going to go for a rolling maul. That is a fantastic one too. They make their way up to their 22 here. Do they want one last attack? No, time is over. They will kick it into touch, Fiji. And that is going to be the end of the game. 50 points to 19. And thanks so much for your live commentary, says Spatheli. And we are going to be back next week when Fiji go head-to-head with either Japan or the USA. The other side of things is Samoa taking on the winner of that contest, although I don't think we're able to do that one, but we're going to do some form of the Pacific Nations Cup for next weekend as well. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are back tomorrow with the Springboks versus All Blacks, as well as the other match that has taken place between Australia and Argentina. I will thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all for the next one.